2, 1, go. And I'd love to show you guys the Civ draft, but not only is it a little bit complicated, I'm too tired for that right now. So we're going to go ahead and get straight into our final game of the night, our second game between Slam and Nicov. A lot of people cheering for Slam in the chat. A lot of fans for Nicov out there as well. And to be honest with you, I think we're all winners because we get to see these great games and we have another full day of Age of Empires 2 action tomorrow as well. So do make sure you tune in at 15 GMT right back here. But for now, we're going to close things out with this final game. Joining me once again is Resonance22, and I'll let you introduce the players. Actually, real quick, before I do pass it over to you, I did just show the stats of Nicov on the screen, and I'm not going to show it again, but a little stat for you. Nicov is unbeaten on Gold Rush in this tournament. Not in this tournament, in all of our tournaments so far, and the map is Gold Rush. But anyway, I'll pass it to Rez now.
That is actually pretty crazy. I had no idea. So I guess he knows this map inside and out. So without further ado, it's the Escape Gaming Elimination Draft Tournament. And we have Slam versus Nicov on Gold Rush, like you just said. On the right side of the map, we have Nicov playing as the red Japanese. And on the left side of the map, we have Slam playing as the blue Persians. What a fascinating matchup between two civilizations we don't often see. And that's why I love the settings for this tournament, where every game, the pool of civilization shrinks for both sides. I can't wait to see how this match turns out because, of course, Nicov has yet to have been defeated on Gold Rush, but maybe the Persians are his kryptonite.
Maybe. Now, let's talk about the Japanese real quick. Japanese in AOC are certainly not the top tier civs. They're somewhere in the middle, lower middle of the civ tiering, I would say. But they got a huge buff in Age of Empires 2 HD and the expansions, which was Bloodlines. And I talk about this every time Japanese come up because in AOC, in the game that most people play competitively, Japanese don't have Bloodlines. That is such a huge advantage, or not advantage, but a huge thing to be given in these expansions, and it really makes the Japanese a lot more formidable, especially on open maps like Gold Rush here. Now, that's something to keep in mind about the Japanese. On the left side of the map, we've got Slam playing as the Persians, a civ which we see a lot on Nomad maps, but they're a popular Nomad civ choice. That's what I mean to say. But they'll do just fine in this kind of matchup as well, I feel.
Yeah, that they will. These are two civilizations that are just very solid in general. I feel like the Bloodlines upgrade really rounds out the Japanese as a civilization. And the Persians are just super solid overall. They have an excellent economy, fairly nice tech tree, having chemistry with bombard cannons and hand cannoneers is certainly nothing to sneeze at. They have paladins as well. We're taking a little bit of a look at the map. This is a weird map, Zach. Nicov is so close to one of the main middle gold mines. That's ridiculous. One of the middle golds is closer than his secondary. Meanwhile, Slam is the only player playing Gold Rush. He's nowhere near the middle of the map. Is this why Nicov is undefeated?
Probably. It's all down to map generation. There's no skill in this game. It's all about the map. It's a map win. I mean, okay, yeah, this is not great for Slam. Obviously, the gold is very far forward, but there's ways that you play around that. Slam's not going to let this get to the point where Nicov just puts a TC on this front gold and calls it his own. He needs to adapt to it, and that's just part of the game. It could have equally been the shoe on the other foot. Of course, I mean, this is just Age of Empires, isn't it? I mean, I've spoke in the past about how you could make completely symmetrical maps which have no random generation. They're completely fair. But people don't like that idea when you poll the competitive community. A lot of the competitive, pro players and high-level players, they like the fact that the map is randomly generated. Yes, sometimes it screws them over. Yes, sometimes it screws their opponent over. But all in all, I mean, you play enough games, the map generation is going to screw you as many times as it's going to help you. So, players just like the unknown. They don't know what they're going into at the start of the game, and it's exciting to reveal the fog of war. I feel like I've just given some pretty big monologue for what is essentially just saying that, well, the map's sometimes good, sometimes it's bad.
But here's the thing. It's things like that that make Age of Empires 2 such a timeless classic. It's the random maps that Putting in just a bit of randomness like this forces good players to adapt. It's not GG. It just means that you have to take the hand that you're given and then make the best of it. In this case, for example, if like you have an incredibly open map, maybe that means that you need to play aggressively to keep your opponent outside of your own base. Defensively is not an option. And that's why I love these random maps. Always keeps the game fresh. Nicov, of course, has a pretty solid advantage here, but crucially, his map is absurdly open. So as long as the pressure is put in his own base and he can't abuse the fact that he has all this extra gold, he could be in a lot of trouble. Slam, starting a wall off of his own. He's the Persian, so he's got that excellent economy. What a safe wood line he has, too. He's got back stone, back gold. This is weird. Nicov is wide open, and it looks like he's going to be opening up with some Japanese men-at-arms rush, which, of course, with 25% faster attack speed is excellent.
Yeah, it's nice to open up with militia as the Japanese, that's for sure. Now, Slammer has built a barracks, but I don't think he's using it. He's actually walling up. And, I mean, this is the thing, right? Slam might have a bad hand when it comes to the gold generation, but he's certainly got a much nicer hand when it comes to the ability to wall up his map. It's still pretty open, but he's got every crucial resource he needs back here. Nice wood lines, like you said. And okay, with a long palisade across the front, he can wall it, but that's certainly a lot easier to wall than Nikov's map right now. So you win some, you lose some. And as a result, Nikov's drush going to come across, Slam's going to see it coming, and he's going to say, yep, well, I'm walled. What are you going to do? And the answer is not a lot, because Nicov probably won't achieve a huge amount with these militia. I mean, I'd like to be proven wrong, but I think it's unlikely they're going to be able to do a huge amount here. Slam bringing out the stable, bringing out the scrush, which is something we would expect to see from the Persians here.
I'm going to have to agree with you. This drush won't accomplish that much, but crucially, once he gets to the feudal age, he gets that 25% faster attack speed. So he's going to force at least some palisade walling, which we see going on right now. Slam, what's he going to go for? He's going to go for a scout rush, of course, with his stable at the back over there. Nicov going to try and find an opening. He's going to be sorely disappointed, as his opponent has a fairly nice defensive map. Nicov, though, has found a location where he has the hill advantage on this wall with that 25% faster attack speed. One additional attack bonus versus buildings that all infantry, the champion line, got when the Forgotten came out. Look at them. One-man wrecking crew. Gonna force some action from Slam. Slam does not want to engage. He's got an injured scout. These men-at-arms are really strong, so at least he's getting something done.
Yeah, well, the house is a little bit more of a formidable defense than a wall, surprisingly. I don't know what they make their houses out of, but maybe they make their palisades out of, like you say, cocktail sticks. That might be part of the problem for these medieval builders. But yeah, Slam moving out with the scouts, and I think, you know, he's thinking, okay, well, last time I overcommitted to the scouts. This time, I'm actually not going to overcommit. I'm going to go scout first. And he knows that Nikov's got a very open map as well. So he's coming in with those guys before Nicov can close it off. But Nicov does have a defensive spearman, and Slam's going to engage the spearman, apparently. He's going to lose a scout. He's going to lose 2 scouts. Oh, so close. Ballsy move.
That's when the 25% faster attack speed is usually crazy versus things like scouts and knights, because you get maybe 1 extra attack off. One of the scouts is super low, and now Nicov going to try and chase it down with a couple of his own archers. Of course, transitioning to archers because it makes sense for his eco. That way he can get to the castle age, get that crossbow and power spike. They don't cost food. Meanwhile, at the front, Slam going to have to repair that stable, and look at those men-at-arms go. That is so unbelievably scary. Slam going to make a spearman to try and hold the line, and meanwhile, keep his scouts alive while he raids.
Go, men-at-arms, go. Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting buff. You know, the fact that they got the extra building attack, and also arson. Like, in the late game, arson is going to be super good for the Japanese, actually, due to the fact that, you know, it's going to stack with the bonus that they get for the, you know, the bonus attack, plus the faster attack speed. They will just destroy buildings super quick once arson is done. But anyway, Nicov on the other side of the map will actually take out another scout, the one that was injured from the spearman, and Slam unable to do any damage with this scout rush. I'm not overly concerned for Slam, but I'm certainly thinking that this is shaping up to be a little bit of deja vu for him, as he is completely walled up once again, boxed into his side of the map once again, and potentially overcommitting to scouts once again, as he does add another 3 scouts in here. This time no bloodlines though, and he just wants to clean up the man-at-arms, relieve the pressure from the front of his base, and once he's done that, he'll see what he can do. He might actually catch out these 4 archers in the middle of the map. And if he can find those, that would be a great win for Slam, because he will take them down, I think. In fact, Nikov's aware of that. He's bringing them home.
Some pretty good control by Slam, trying to keep as many of his scouts alive, make the men-at-arms spend unnecessary time walking, so he will be able to barely clean up that army. And now, Nicov on the retreat does not have fletching yet, which is actually very big when you're engaging versus scouts that have a +2 base defense. Meanwhile, Nicov moving out across the map, picking off a couple of wolves. Slam looking for a counterattack of his own, but he will be disappointed to find that Nicov has actually somehow managed to wall a very, very open map. So neither of these players really going to be able to accomplish too much with this raiding. Slam's going to look for the other side, and now Nicov, he can keep poking at the stable. That's not going to work. Really, both these players not really able to get in there.
Yeah, the stable's not going down here. Well, at least not for a while anyway. Fletching now being completed for for Nicov, which is really important, as you say, especially once these scouts are out on the map. If you get caught without fletching, could be pretty nasty. Slam, though, behind the wall. I like how he's done this behind the wall, so it's out of the line of sight of Nicov. Nicov has no idea. There is an archery range and a blacksmith here. He's gone for fletching and for skirms, which should be enough to repel these archers, and if his scouts come in at the right time, even if this palisade goes down, the skirms will be in enough numbers and the scouts will be there to hopefully defend this. I mean, Slam's looking a little wobbly, to be honest with you. He's looking a little wobbly. 41 pop for Slam, 50 for Nicov. I think Nicov has the greater number of military units with 13 versus the 8 from Slam here. So overall, villager-wise, I think Nicov has a small advantage as well. But here comes the archers right into the arms of those skirms. And those skirms have +1 defense as well. So Nicov, oh, what a cock-up.
Oh, it's a trap. The archer's just walking straight into the wrong neighborhood. Nicov getting absolutely slammed. He is losing all of his archers. That was such a great move, honestly, on the part of Slam. He'll put that archer range just out of that line of sight, going for the skirms. He's got +1 defense, too. This guy hates archers. Archers killed his parents, and now he's moving out on the counterattack. Nicov, caught with his tail between his legs. I'm not entirely sure he's going to deal with this because he went mono archers, getting punished very hard. But he does have a pretty sizable military lead. Meanwhile, Slam opening up his bag of tricks yet again with his secondary stable. But I think that's actually probably for knights. I'm pretty sure he's going to go for the castle age now that he managed to defend himself.
Yeah, I think so too. And that little sneaky archery range at the back was a nice play. He even managed to get Nicov to enter into his base where he could quickly and easily kill his archers, forcing Nicov, of course, to run. And now he's got the map control a little bit more back into his favor as he pushes out with this counter army that he has. The second stable is no doubt for these knights. Once he'll click up to the castle age, he will start creating those guys. And we see Nicov adding a stable of his own as well, but also, again, behind the walls. This time, though, I think it's not going to be for knights, but instead it's actually for scouts. Nicov wants to win back the map control right now, and he wants to take out this army of skirms, and he will do that a little bit easier with a couple of scouts in the mix. But this is quite a big investment to make. 160 food. He has to build a stable as well, and this is going to slow down his castle time considerably. And for what? To kill these small number of skirms, which he will actually achieve right now.
Yeah, he does get to mop up the skirms, but I think it was a ruse yet again. Slam playing 5D chess. He just wanted to buy some time. That way he could get to the castle age and just give himself some space. It's something I always explain to people when I tell them, one of the things that makes Age of Empires so interesting is that fundamentally it's a game of incomplete information. That's why we see it's so important that these players put their military buildings outside the line of sight of their opponent. That gives you that momentum swing before your opponent has to tech into counters, and then once again, they resume that dance. Nicov has the momentum. But crucially, he's going to walk face first, face plant into those stone walls from Slam. And once he gets to the castle age, and I think he's going to get there safely, he's going to pick knights out of the 2 stables and then clean up his army yet again. So Nikov's going to need an answer. And if we look at his economy, he's not able to go to castle yet.
Yeah, he slowed himself down massively. I think he could have clicked up a long time ago if he didn't make the scouts. But hey, that's something he decided he wanted to do, take the map control back. The stone walls from Slam are there. And also, let's not forget, it's a minor bonus, but the Persians do get +2 attack versus archers as well with those knights. So that's going to be something to really help him mop up these archers a little quicker. +2 attack, it's not huge, but with 30 HP. It's a sizable chunk of their health pool, and with a few knights, you're going to be churning right through those weak archers. Nicov actually bringing them home. And so all in all, those scouts, I don't think they were worth it, to be honest. Slam now castle, and Nicov still hasn't clicked up. Slam, 2 stable knights, actually struggling a little bit. He doesn't quite have the food, but he certainly has a lot of farms, so I imagine he will seed a couple more and maybe add a second TC. Yeah, there it is on the right side.
Yeah, it was that 700 wood. He is actually struggling right now to sustain knight production from 2 stables and keep his town center working. I think he'll be fine, though. He has a ton of farms. He's the Persians with an excellent economy. Now he can spend all that excess wood on a town center. And Nicov, in hot pursuit, really not too far behind the Castle Age department. And once he gets there, we'll have to see. I think he's going to grab the Crossman upgrade. He's actually putting down a secondary stable. So he might try and match this with knights. Very interesting indeed.
Well, I mean, this is the thing, right? This is the thing. If this was AOC, there's no way Nicov would be doing a second stable right now. Because without bloodlines, like, how would he fight this? The thing is, though, Slammers the Persians can easily switch into camels as well. And I think, maybe Nikov's best shot is probably still just to mass the crossbows here. But of course, he doesn't want a mono army because it can be very easily countered by the mangonels from Slam, which are also being added. So the knights might be more of a case of, okay, let's take out the mangonels with the knights and really focus on crossbows still. Let's see right now. I mean, he has to go for crossbow. He's got that many archers, but he is adding knights as well. I'm just wondering what techs he's gone for on those, and I'm wondering if he did do bloodlines or not. Let's check the scout here, and he has done bloodlines. So this is really a game changer for the Japanese player here. This bloodlines tech is, in my opinion, I don't think they need bloodlines. I was really against this change, in all honesty. But yeah, that's the only thing I have a quarrel with.
It definitely rounds them out as a civilization. It's like you said, I feel like Nicov might not have gone for this line of play if he did not have bloodlines. It really opens them up as a civilization. Now, Nicov with the Crossman upgrade, he's trying to move out. He really wanted to pick up that mangonel with the scouts, but he got denied by the repairer. And I would agree that mass crossman, I think, is the way to go here. He's going for the Bodkinero upgrade, but he just needs something to deal with these mangonels. If you can get a pick off here with the hill advantage, God, we see how powerful that absolutely is. Will that mangonel go down? I think the answer is yes. This should give Nicov an opportunity. Yep.
And the villager. Yeah, and the villager. Nicov can push out now. And with this many crossbow and bodkin arrow as well, there's no way Slam wants to engage that with this small number of knights right here. Of course, that's the nice thing about going crossbows in the Castle Age. If you keep a good chunk of your Feudal Age archers alive, you already have a lot of a base of units to upgrade. And with crossbows versus knights, it's all about just reaching the critical mass of maybe like 25 to 30 crossbows. Once you've got that, knights aren't a problem. Like you fight the knights and you're going to come out on top. Not only that, but Nicov is continuing to add his own knights in here as well, which is interesting to me. I'm guessing it's mostly for the mangonels. And the response from Slam seems to have been a monastery, which he built outside but then built inside. So why not?
One of the interesting things going on right now, I also wonder if the knights are just also a way to keep the enemy knights off of Nikov's own crossbows, because that Persian extra attack bonus, it doesn't make a big difference, but, well, it certainly can, at least. It's something that they have to factor in here. Nicov pushing forward, finally sending some gold miners to the middle very slightly. Hasn't been able to really take advantage of the fact that he has such a close base to the middle. With this mangonel inside, Nicov has to be super careful. One mangonel shot, and he's immediately dead. So he might actually just retreat here. And Slam's going to regroup his own army. He has a pretty huge amount of upgrades on his knights, too.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned if Nicov retreats, though. Because Nicov is on 1 TC. This is a 1 TC aggression. He's got 4 military production buildings, 2 stables, 2 ranges. He's invested in bloodlines, +1 defense, +1 attack, bodkin arrow, +1 defense on the crossbows. So he's actually put a lot into this military. And he's only just adding in his 2nd TC right now on this gold, which is, a fantastic gold. We said about this earlier on, but it's only just coming up. Meanwhile, it means Slam's already up to 3 TCs here. And, that's a little bit concerning to me for Nicov. Nikov's ahead in population by 1. And most of that is army. He's got a huge army right now. So Slam is so ahead in villages that Nicov is is a little bit pressured to do damage now, and so far he's not done the damage. He's not given Slam the D, and Slam gonna try and utilize these hills. He's holding on with the mangonels at the top, and actually we're seeing the scouts coming in to take out the monk. Very nice play by Nicov. Gets the pick, and let's see what Slam can do on the hill here. As Nicov goes into wide stance, and Slam needs to protect those mangonels. They're expensive, and they will do the dealing. They will be dealing the damage, sorry, to these crossbows. It looks like one will go down, and it looks like two are going to go down here.
Oh,
it's
wow.
pretty bad for Slam, actually.
This is some excellent control here from Nicov. He will lose a knight, but that's totally fine. He's actually going to lose a lot of them. But that's why he made those knights, as a way to just pick off those mangonels. Now Nicov moving towards the middle. He does have his second 10 center finally, putting down a double monastery to use all that extra gold he has. It's going to come down to just careful micro. Slam's got some monks to get some healing in here. This will be pretty nice, and threaten a conversion on the opposing knights as they move in. But Slam sees a window of opportunity. He has an insanely strong Persian economy. He had more town centers. His town centers worked faster, and he wants this hill. Can Nicov win this fight? He can if he keeps the hill, and Slam's going to pull out.
Yo, actually, Nicov here, why wouldn't he go for monks? It worked so well for him last game. Oh, nice mangonel shots onto these crossbows. They're very weak now. Another shot comes in. Oh, fantastic play from Slam there. He will lose the mangonel, of course, but it's worth it in the end. The monks from Nicov actually going down. It looks like Slam's going to break this front line. Nicov actually did redemption there. He's looking to try and get the conversions on the mangonel. That's another way to deal with them if you're not using your knights. And he'd rather do that with the monks than throw knights away to his opponent's monks. But yeah, great play by Slam. He will take the center back. And like I say, Nicov did go for the monks last game, and they worked great. But this time around, Slam has a little bit more map control. Slam is able to engage before the monks get massed up and before they become a real problem. In fact, it looks like he will lose one of these monasteries right now. Slam, this is looking very nice. And Nikov's resorting to adding a second barracks here to pump out some last-minute pikemen, I think, by the looks of things, which are, Japanese pikemen. So they will do a reasonable job versus these knights if they engage head-on.
Japanese pikemen are great as a comeback mechanic here. We've seen time and time again the Japanese get boxed in, but they're able to hold the line because that extra attack speed. Nicov on the back foot. Having this hill advantage is huge for Slam. He's pulling so many villagers forward, he's going to put down a watchtower. I could have sworn that would be a castle. Here he comes.
Wow, I mean, that's interesting, isn't it? 2 towers there? He wasn't far off from having a castle, actually. I don't know why he didn't go for the castle instead. Maybe it's actually not... Maybe there's actually no real good position for a castle here. Maybe you can't place it down anywhere nice. That could be part of the reason.
Is that a third one? I think it's a third one.
Yeah, all 3 going up. And he's going to lay claim to this gold in the middle, even if Nicov has one of those gold mines on his side of the map. Slam making sure he locks that down before it's too late. I'm liking this play from Slam. And to be honest, I mean, Nicov here, 100% win rate on Gold Rush. Maybe not today after Slam's finished with him, because this is looking like Slam's holding this one down. 4 watchtowers, though, is quite a commitment to the towers in the middle. And I mean, watchtowers don't have the longevity that the castles may have, but they do the job for now. And it's not like he needs the castle to make his unique unit or anything. Slam is not going to be adding any elephants in this game. No chance.
It just goes to show that map generation is, of course, not everything. And all it does is it influences what strategies players go for. But in the end, what really matters is what you do with that. And here we see Slam with the secret technology, 34-minute Persian Trush. This is a very fascinating choice from him. But of course, the name of the game is map control. He wants this center gold. It's Gold Rush. And with that hill advantage, these crossmen cannot really safely harass that anymore. Nicov, though, with his insane map, still has safe gold somehow, despite having almost no map control. And these pikemen will be great here. He just has to watch out for the triple mangonels. And holy, that's a 5th watchtower. Slam's a madman.
Is he going to do guard tower, maybe, with this many? I'm wondering. Slam is actually going up to the Imperial Age right now, and he doesn't have a university. So he's got a monastery, and he's got a... why have my mind just gone completely blank? A siege workshop, sorry. So there you go. So he's on the way up to Imp without a uni. So no guard tower for now, but it could be something to consider. There's enough towers here to make it worth it. Okay, engagement on the top side. The pikemen are there. Slam cannot engage that head on. And he's going to the Imperial Age, so he doesn't want to lose his army right now. That would be terrible for him. What he wants to do is get Imp and then get Cavalier. And then maybe the pikemen aren't going to be too scary with only one attack upgrade. So we've got the University from Slam coming up now. Nice and well centered in the map. You got to spread that knowledge evenly. And Slam probably going to go for guard tower, I feel. I mean, okay, maybe ballistics as well.
And arrow slits, yeah.
And maybe arrow slit. I mean, it could be interesting. In fact, this town center here is actually coming under fire from these towers, and that's actually harassing the Vils even as well. I'm liking this play from Slam very much. And Nicov still not up to the Imperial Age yet, and you would assume normally that a player who's on 2 TCs should be able to hit Imp before the player on 3, since they're investing less resources into villager production, and therefore they're able to surplus their food a little faster. But actually, Nicov only just clicking up, and Slam is nearly there. So this is really bad, and he might even lose this TC on the front. I'm very curious to see what happens at the University, though. Maybe chemistry? I don't know. It's maybe a little expensive right now. He wants the upgrades on other things first. Let's see. I'm certain he's doing Cavalier, though. Absolutely certain. Yeah.
What a truly, truly bizarre game between these players. Nice, okay. So bombard cannons and whatnot I think would be excellent for pushing here. And Slam has definitive map control. When this town center goes down, Nicov will still be able to mine gold with his own mining camp. And right now he's just waiting for that critical mass. That way he can engage, but he's scared of those watchtowers. He needs to wait till he gets to the Imperial Age. God, this is such a dicey game. But I feel like Nicov is not completely out yet because he still has some gold. He just needs to get to Imp, and he's a little over 50% now. Here comes an archer in from Slam, so I think that Slam also wants to go for hand cannoneers here as a way to pick off the
the pikes.
Actually, to pick off the pikes, yeah.
Absolutely. No, I think the Persians' late-game army composition generally going to be consisting of those gunpowder units anyway. I mean, the bombard cannon and the hand cannon combo is super strong. I feel like against a civ like the Japanese as well, it can work really nicely. The only thing they've got to be cautious of course, is the Japanese arbalest. But the pikes are going to get shredded by that combination. And of course, Nikov's gone super heavy into the pikes. Why wouldn't he when your opponent's making a lot of Cavalier? But I think the solution here for Slam, raid with the Cavalier, and then get the hand cannons out to hold the hill. And with that, he's going to have good access to the gold. And I'd still like to see guard tower from him. I would still like to see some more techs at this university. But for now, I mean, chemistry is all he needs to really get the ball rolling and start the hand cannon production. So this is going to be interesting. Now, Nicov, fortunately for Nicov, he does have redemption, which is actually keeping these mangonels away from the TC, just about, and allowing Nicov to still keep his TC up. Now, also, Nicov, this is a really important thing, I think. He'll see the flaming boulders coming in from the mangonels. That tells him that Slam's done chemistry. And as a result, it also tells him that Slam's army composition is going to be hand cannons. And so maybe he'll keep that in mind now when he makes his first technology upgrades in the Imperial Age. Or maybe he won't, because he's doing halberdier.
Yeah, or maybe not. He does get a conversion on that mangonel redemption, keeping him in the game for so long, but he does not get a nice trade off of it. Nicov now in the Imperial Age. This is his time to shine. I'm assuming he's also going to go for Arbalest as well on top of this. And, well, this game's not over yet because Slam doesn't have a defense in the middle that's that impossible to remove. These are, of course, much weaker than actual castles. But Slam still has map control, and Nicov has to answer this Prano before he runs out of gold. He's on a timer. He's held super strong, but it's that hill advantage that's going to make it so hard. I feel like a trebuchet, though, could potentially end this stall, and Slam's response is, another one. Another watchtower.
Hit me again. Yeah, I mean, the watchtowers are going to go super quick to a treb. Just look at the damage. It's even an uphill damage, even an uphill shot. But that watchtower is going to go down in 3 hits. It's absolutely fodder to these trebs. So that means that Slam has to make a move, and he's moving headlong into the Haubs. Yeah, the Haubs were not engaging there at all. A lot of Cavaliers getting converted, actually. I'm amazed that Slam is engaging this. Japanese Haubs, head on. Is that really the fight you want to take, Slam? I guess he feels like he has no choice. But hey, look at the Mangonels at the back. Actually doing quite a lot of damage. But certainly resource-wise, I feel like Nicov might have traded a little better there. If he can break this meat shield of Halbs, though, well, he's going to have a nice clear way through to the meaty underbelly, which is these Arbalest at the back, and the Monks, which really have very little defense against these Cavalier, and somehow a Knight in here as well. A blue Knight that didn't get the memo that we are Cavalier now. As a result, he's going to die.
So that was not some excellent control from Nicov. I don't know what happened there. His Halbs were on stand ground initially. They took a lot of free damage, and then they didn't really engage. They just kind of got bunched up on each other, and it was really difficult for him. Basically, he took so much free damage from Slam. And as a result, Slam comes out on top of that engagement, even though Nicov has a more like an army that has the potential to trade cost efficiently. The Halbs are so strong versus those Cavalier. But Nicov pushed back. He's not out of the game until he loses that army of Arbalest. He was just waiting until he had Bracer. The Bombard Cannons, though, will break the stall, and that severely weakens the threat of these Trebuchets. Bombard Cannons can take that out from a safe distance.
Yeah.
Nicov in big trouble, but he's still not dead until he loses that town center. I just can't help but feel that Slam has his eye on that right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the bombard cannons here are super important at taking out the siege, and he's still getting a good chunk of hand cannons messed up. I also want to add that Slam had +4 defense, +2 attack on his Cavalier, whilst Nicov had +1/+1 on his Halbs. So although the Halbs are super strong, they did lack a couple of upgrades as well, which would have probably impacted that fight just a little bit. Not a huge amount, since they'd still do a huge amount of bonus damage versus the Cavs, but it's still something to keep in mind. Monk getting sniped by the bombard cannon. What are you going to do? He's actually gone ahead and got block printing, actually, which does mean that the monks and the bombard cannon have the same range. And I've seen in the past good use of block printing monks to counter bombard cannons, but in this case, I think it's still going to be pretty tough. This TC from Nicov, well, that's gone. That's definitely gone. And this is going to be a real problem for Nicov to hold on to the gold now. Slam on the left side. We got Rams coming out. We got more stables. Slam's got great access to gold. And he's all over the middle of the map. I feel like Slam is going to probably end up taking this game. I'm just waiting for the kind of flank play to come in as the Cap Ram upgrade happens right now. And he's moving forward.
Yeah, that he is. Nicov in a world of hurt, slowly losing all his villagers to those watchtowers from Slam. I think it's actually kind of crazy that Slam won't build a castle. I guess he doesn't need to, but he's built so many watchtowers at this point. He's putting in 3 more. This guy's on the new meta, and the new meta is OP. It doesn't involve guard towers or arrow slits. It's just 48-minute virgin watchtowers with no masonry either. Screw that technology. Doesn't do any damage.
Not even no masonry, but no bracer for that +1 range as well. The fact he's only got 10 range, I mean, he's limiting how many villagers he could potentially kill on this goal. But, I feel like the watchtowers are really just a stalling mechanism. Slam knows he can hold the hill as long as he's given the time to get his army composition together. And, hand cannons and bombard cannons, they take time, but he's bought himself that time now. He can run forward with the Cavalier. He can keep the hand cannons on the hill to tear through the Halbs. And Paladin just finishing up for Slam now as well. So I feel like this is going to be the final push here from Slam. I don't think Nicov can hold it. But then again, Slam could completely flunk this and engage terribly. At the moment, he is fighting the pikes, or the Halbs, sorry. But his hand cannons are laying into them from the back. Now the capped rams are in there as well, absorbing quite a bit of arrow fire from the Arbalest. Of course, the conversions coming in on the paladins as well. And even the trebs going at the hand cannons. So far, actually, Nicov managing to stage a reasonable defense from this push. The Halbs still being very effective versus the paladins. And of course, the Arbalest somehow staying alive for a long time and laying into this army continually from the back.
Well, that shouldn't be possible. Those cap rams soaking up so much damage.
Yeah.
And yet, Nicov coming out on top
Slam's
here.
routed.
That's one of the real big strengths of those rams is that they waste so many arrow shots.
Wow.
They waste all that Halb attacks. And yet, Nicov coming out on top, going to pick off another capped ram. Slam's army is so gold intensive, but it's gold rush, so it doesn't really matter. And Nicov actually clinging onto that gold mine that he's had since the start of the game. He's coming back with a vengeance. This trebuchet deployed. picking off some of those watchtowers, and every single watchtower that goes down weakens Slam. It's his Horcrux. He has to keep them alive if he wants to win the game.
Yeah, I don't know about Slam's engagement there. I think he sent the Paladins too heavily into the Halbs at the front. I feel like he could get round the back easily and go for the Arbalest at the back with the Paladins and let the hand cannons do the work on the front here. But, I mean, Slam didn't take the best fight, no. And I think part of the reason why Nicov was able to win that as well is the defender's advantage. If you look where he's fighting right outside of the barracks and right outside of the archery ranges as well. So Nikov's actually able to reinforce his army very quickly, while Slam's got a lot further to run to get to the front line. His stables are pretty far away, and maybe that's having quite an impact here. Nicov looked like he was going to make a break for the hill here, but look, the Halbs and the Arbs, they're separated. This is like the perfect time for Slam to go and kill those Arbalests, but no, he's still fighting against the Halbs down here. Get up here, man. Get those Arbs. You know you want to.
God, Age of Empires unit control is so fascinating, but this is not how you do it. When your opponent has an army of Arbs and Halbs, you need to send the Paladins to the Arbs, and you need to send, oh my god, the Hand Cannoneers to the Halbs, but that's not what's going on. Nicov, though, controlling his units quite nicely. He really does have critical mass of Arbs, but he's running out of Halbs, and without that, the Paladins are going to run roughshod over him. He's wasting so much gold from Slam with all these cheap units, because again, Nicov doesn't have that much long gold left in him. God, this is so close. Is actually Nicov going to mop up this army? I can't tell.
Oh, man. Those Arbalests are doing so much to the Paladins here. And now that the Paladins are gone, they're going to go into the hand cannons as well. So, man, I feel like Slam had a great opportunity to engage the Arbalest at the back there. But, yeah.
No way.
Yeah. He's pushed back again. Routed again. Surprising, yet so real, so very real. I think maybe a solution here for Slam could be to try and raid a little bit, but he has now got to deal with this very large mass of units on the front as Nicov starts pushing up this hill. He really has to hold the hill here. I mean, that's his real only solution. Now, of course, the problem for the Persians is that they don't get the bracer technology, which means that they could go into skirmishes, but they really don't want to because, they're still not going to be that formidable in this kind of situation.
Wow. Bad fight after bad fight. And Nicov showing the resilience of the Japanese.
Uh-oh.
They just, with the Halbs, the 25% faster attack speed, the broad, wide open tech tree. Holy crap. Nicov pushing this back, and these watchtowers suck. They are not going to stall this push at all. One Treb shot deals over half the watchtower HP. And now Nicov is going to build a castle because he knows that's the right building here.
Man.
Good lord, Slam falling apart at the seams despite having what appeared to be an insurmountable lead. Infinite gold Persians is insane, and yet not good enough. He has a big army of Paladins, but I think he needs, like you said, to do some raiding or something. But then he's going to forfeit the middle and lose the game. What can Slam do?
Slam, man. I mean, I can't help but feel he's kind of thrown this one a little bit. It's a bit rough to say that because, I mean, it's so difficult to be in his situation. But, yeah, I mean, he's actually pushed off of the gold in the middle now. He has no gold income at all. He's villagers down here just, like, absolutely out of position, getting killed off. The monks from Nicov getting some crucial conversions on the Paladins, and still Slam fighting versus the Halbs head-to-head. This is not the way Slam thought this was going to go. This is not the way Slam envisioned this at all. And Nicov now with the hill advantage as well. Does this combo not work on HD or what?
Not when used like that.
Oh, man. This combo doesn't work. What the fuck, dude? Says Slam in the chat.
It does work. It's really good.
Oh man, I can't believe this. What is Slam gonna say now? Paladin are useless with the pathing, he says. I don't know, he seems to be blaming it on the pathing.
I mean, he's right that the pathing is certainly negatively affects Paladins, but I feel like that there was just superior micro from Nicov, and that wasn't so much the pathing, but man, wow, I cannot believe that Nicov turned that around.
A little bit of AoE salt, maybe, in the chat there.
That's a lot of salt.
I mean, it's a real... It's I don't know, man. I mean, Japanese halbs. He did run the paladins into the halbs in most of those engagements. But yeah, even Nicov saying
Yeah, it's
Japanese
Jap
halbs in the
halbs.
chat.
And a couple monks too.
Well, Slam saying you know better. I mean, in theory, Slam had the better combination. Like, there's no doubt that Paladin and hand cannons is the better combination. But it's all about taking the right engagements, I guess. And I mean, Nicov, like I said, he had the defender's advantage with the reinforcements. And every engagement we saw Slam fighting the halbs at the front. But yeah, I mean, it is questionable because Slam should have won more fights, I feel. And I think both of us had the feeling that Slam was going to take that with that combo.
Oh, absolutely. I think that Slam objectively had the better units with the Paladins plus Hand Cannoneers. It's one of the stronger combinations in Age of Empires, too. And it should beat this army. I think that unipathing certainly plays a part of it, but really, I just feel like it was just excellent control on Nikov's part and not respecting the Japs' halbs, which are just insanely strong with a 25% faster attack speed. I can't believe Nicov turned this around.
Wow, yeah.
But he did. So his win streak on Gold Rush unbroken. That was an incredible game. Wow.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I am really. I mean, that game. Okay, yeah. That game was a real shame for Slam, and I mean, okay, the Watchtowers, I think, definitely were a stall for time, and we said this before. He was definitely stalling so that he could get that combination, which in theory should beat that army. I think maybe we underestimate the monks from Nicov as well. I just want to look at the conversions. Yeah. There was 33 units converted, which wasn't that many actually. In the grand scheme of things, it wasn't that many. But a lot of those units were actually paladins as well. So it still has quite a big impact. But you know what? I really want to hear what Nilpford has to say, because I think he's going to give us the better insight into that as not only an expert player, but also someone who's very used to AOC and the pathfinding in this game as well. And someone who's also got another perspective on the game and other things that we might have missed. So we'll check it to Nilpford, and he can tell us what he thought.
Oh, that hurts so much. Oh, Slam boy. What did you do to us? Let's take a look at his engagements. Oh, look at that goal is important. We have that gold important. Over here we have endless amount of unprotected eco. He could attack everything, but he is attacking into that only area where actual army is. And yeah, let's take a look. Fighting against Halberdiers over and over again. This spot, that's an important area. He needs to attack here, attacking the fight at the top. And Nicov all this time only trading Halberdiers at the front. Arbalest, monks, never actually getting attacked. He is getting gold. Another tower over here would be needed. Just control this area and attack from here. Oh, that could have gone into a penis, so better stop that. And yeah, just attack this crucial area, and he's firing with the towers, not even having ballistics here. And yeah, just not taking the real fight. Traps now, and we see Nicov with very little gold. But still, it's totally enough, and Slam could have denied that, absolutely. Now, beautiful convert against the bombard cannons here, look at that. But simple, one more 2 towers, with just paladins, 1-2 paladins here, 1-2 paladins over here. But Slam, over and over taking bad fight after bad fights. And look at that again, paladins in the front, halberdiers, and look at the amount of converts all the time. Just brutal. You always see like 3-4 paladins suddenly turning against each other. And yeah, I know that was very fast speed here, guys, sorry, but I wanted to show you a lot of unfortunate finds in a row. And all this time, still, gold spot, uncontested. Look at that, only 1 tower in range. Another tower absolutely would have been an option. Just plant 2 hand cannoneers. Just put them on stand ground. So much better as well. Bombard cannon over here. So many options, but he just decided, okay, I have the better army, I'll attack. But that's not how strategy games work. If you're ahead, get further ahead. Not try to end the game here. That's what Slam wanted to do, and I have to agree. more than 90% of the time, he just wins that attack convincingly and ends the game. But if he just played it out smart, he goes higher than 90%. And yeah, that's it from me for today. And, depressing ending.
Well, maybe depressing for Slam, but certainly not depressing for Nicov, who will retain his unbroken winning streak on Gold Rush. He is unbeaten on that map so far, and that means that if we look at the bracket, we have completed exactly half of our games at the end of the day. So, in round 1, we saw the Viper beating Leary 2-0. We saw Tato beating Doubt 2-0. And then the winning players in round 1 faced each other earlier on. That was Tato and Viper. And we saw Viper take the victory there 2-0 as well. Which means that Viper is technically ahead right now. In second place right now, we would have Nicov, because Nicov got a draw in the first round versus Tim. Slam got a draw in the first round versus Backed. And now in round 2, Nicov gets the win versus Slam. So that means if we look at the current standings, we'll see Viper in first position, Nicov in second, Doubt at the moment, and Leary at the moment in last position, but they have yet to play their round 2 games. Doubt will be facing Leary tomorrow, and we'll also see Backed versus Tim tomorrow as well as the round 3 games, which I'm very much looking forward to.